Let me know if you can see my screen, and then we'll get started here in just a second. Okay. Okay, good. All right, great. So I'm gonna hit the slideshow, and we're gonna get rocking and rolling because I really think this is more important sometimes than the technical stuff that we cover in the webinars. And if you're new, you just got started recently, if you don't have access to the membership area where you see the webinar replays and stuff, let me know, and we'll get you set up if for whatever reason you missed it. Here's a little note at the top of the Skype group for the group coaching. There's a link to create your account if you didn't see that, but there's also a link when you first got to the thank you page where you saw my video and me talking, etc. But either way, if you don't have access, let me know and we'll get you set up. So, like I said, I think this training today is really more important than a lot of the technical stuff that I've shown you guys in the past. Simply because, I mean, if you don't do these things consistently, and if you miss some of these, you're going to be, struggling a lot, and you're going to be wondering why. So we're just going to go into this PowerPoint right now. I'll call it 13 Steps to Success. We're going to do a little checkup from the neck up, like Zig Ziglar used to say, and we're just going to get rocking and rolling. Okay, so. Okay, number one is, I know you've heard this before, and you're probably rolling your eyes, but a lot of the things you're going to hear today you've heard before, but I really want you to realize that if you've heard it over and over and over again, and you're not doing it, then you're doing yourself a disservice and you're hurting yourself. You've probably, been in MLM companies or network marketing companies from behind in the past where they say, write down your why. Well, this is very important to just your success altogether because, look, we know life is hard. Life is hard big time. You're going to be going for your goals and things are going to be going good. Next thing you know, something major happens in your life. Your wife leaves you, your dog dies, you get in a car accident, something happens and it's just going to knock you down and something's going to happen that's going to make you want to quit and get away from your goal and just be reactive and focus on whatever tragedy happened at the time. And there's going to be people that tell you you can't do it, and why are you always on the computer? You're still trying that pyramid scheme stuff, blah blah blah. If you don't write down the reason why you're doing this, there's going to be times when things get really really tough, and you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to just throw in the towel. If you don't write down all the reasons why you want to succeed and be successful, then you're going to quit. You got to write down all the reasons. Like, for instance, my whys are my wife and my kids, and I want to buy my mother a home. I also want to eventually become a motivational speaker and help not kids, but people in their 20s that were like me back when I was on the wrong course. My why is to buy basically a compound or get one built that's 2, 3, 4, 5 acres, and it's surrounded with brick wall, and I have a little pond, and I have trails for my kids to ride go-karts and four-wheelers and stuff like that, and we have a gazebo and a little place for people to have parties in the back, so that I can leave that to my children when I'm gone, and they can pass it on down to their children. So, those are some of my reasons why. So you need to write down why you're doing this. And if it's just for money, just to pay your bills, you need to find a bigger reason why. Okay, you need to find out, maybe it's because you want to put your grandkids through college because you weren't able to do that for your own kids. Or maybe it's you want to buy your mother a home. Or maybe you want to take care of your parents that are getting elderly, and you feel bad because you don't have all the money to take care of them in a nice, as we call it over here in the United States, old folks home. But whatever it is, you need to write down those reasons, because times are going to come and you're going to get hit right smack in the face, and you're going to be stumbling around, and you're going to lose focus of what you're trying to go for, and there's going to be times where you're going to want to quit. So if you don't write down why you're doing this, you can quit very, very easily. So many people join this industry and this whole thing about trying to make money online, try to work from home, etc. And so many people end up failing and quitting because just this one thing, is something that they never followed through with. If you've never done it, I don't care if you've heard this 500 times. If you haven't done it, why don't you? What's the problem? Why don't you sit down on a piece of paper? Nobody has to look at it. Get your notebook out and write down the reasons why you want to succeed, why you want to make $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month or more. Write down why, not just because of money. I mean, it has to be something bigger than just your stuff. You have to want to be successful more than just so that you can spend it on, I'm just throwing stuff out here just to be funny, but wild parties and chasing women and buying cars and, stuff like that. It has to be more than that. Because if you don't write down those reasons, like I said, life's going to hit you on the blind side, like Les Brown says, and you're going to be like, whoa, wanting to quit. Okay, I remember hearing Les Brown tell this story once where he was on stage giving a motivational speech, and the people were going crazy, and they were, going crazy for him, saying, "We want the motivator, we want the motivator." And he got off stage, and he called his girlfriend at the time, or his wife at the time, and he says, "Do you hear that? Do you hear that? They're screaming my name. They're screaming for more, and blah blah blah." And then she said, "Les, I need to speak to you." And he's like, wait, but listen to him. You can hear him in the background. And she says, "Wait, but I need to talk to you." And next thing you know, he hears a voice on the other side of the phone saying, "Tell him already, tell him already." And next thing you know, she's like, "Les, I need to talk to you. I'm leaving you. You're away from home too much, and I want a divorce," or something like that. So Les Brown is like, he just freaks out, and then the MC of the event comes around saying, "Hey, Les, they want you back on stage. They want you back on stage." And he's like having a nervous breakdown because his wife just left him on the phone, and he's talking about, you got to be motivated, you got to write down your why, blah blah blah. So he went back out on stage, and he kept on, talking and telling people, you got to keep your goals in front of you because life's going to hit you on the blind side. And he started getting real passionate, crying on stage and stuff, and people thought he was just getting into it and getting passionate, but what happened was his wife had just left him over the phone. So you see, if he hadn't really kept his goals in front of him, he would have just given up and just went to his hotel room and cried himself to sleep. But instead, he got back on that stage and kept inspiring those people. So that's just a quick little story that you got to write down the reasons why you're here. Again, you've heard this before, but if you haven't done it, why haven't you? Don't you want to succeed? Don't you want to make more money than me, make more money than other people so that you can help people, so that you can sow life into other people? You got to write down the reasons why you're doing this. And again, it has to be more than just your stuff. You have to have a big reason of, like I said, whether it's your children, for your grandchildren, for your wife, for your husband, to do, help people in the community, to create some kind of learning center for free for people that are underprivileged. Whatever it is, you need to write down the reasons why you want to succeed. You can't just, go through trying to make this happen without a reason why you want to do it, because those times come when it's going to be very hard for you, and they do come, and they still hit me every once in a while. Life doesn't get any easier. It becomes more worth it the more you grow. Okay? The wind of life blows on us all. We all have things that come against us. No one is special and doesn't have things happen to them. Things happen to everybody, whether you're a millionaire, a billionaire, or someone who's homeless. Life happens to us all. And so you got to keep your reasons why you're going for your goals and why you want to succeed, because if not, things are going to hit you, and one of these days they might hit you too hard, and you'll quit and give up on your dream simply because you don't have this one step, which is writing down your reason why you want to succeed. Number 2, you want to write down your goals. Now, this is different than why you want to succeed, because why you want to succeed might be for your children, your wife, to help your grandkids, to start, some kind of foundation. But your goals would be like, I want to earn X amount of money per month, okay? Like I have a card right here, right in front of me. I just pulled it out. That says here, I'm earning $100,000 a month free and clear in my businesses, and we take 4 to 6 vacations per year. I'm working less and less hours per week, but helping and impacting more and more people every week. I and my family are healthier now than ever before. Those are 3 of my major goals. I have that written down on a 3x5 postcard. Okay, I carry it around with me in my wallet. Let me flip over to the other side and tell you what it says. It's ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it will be opened unto you. I think you know where that comes from. I have this. Look, you can hear me flip it right here. I have this card and I have it that I take it with me in my wallet. I took it out so that I could read it to you guys. You got to write down your goals. No matter if, you got to get yourself a notebook if you don't have one. Get yourself a notebook and use it to not only write down your to-do list, write down your goals, and write down your why, but jot down anything good you hear, a good quote, a good idea. Get that notebook and write it down. I can tell you, I mean, if you try to think just in your head, you'll never get nothing done because you don't have a plan. You don't have a blueprint. You don't have something to tell you, okay, what's my next step? I wrote down these ideas, and then you wake up the next day, you say, okay, that's right, I got to get this done today. You have your to-do list. You have your goals written down. You have the picture in front of you of the life you want to create. And I said create because you create your life. You got to realize that things happen to everybody. Life doesn't just happen to you and you just end up wherever you end up. You have to decide how you're going to create your life, and you're going to change your life. You have the control. You are in control of your destiny. If you don't realize that you have the power to change where you're going, you got to realize that now. That don't just let days go by and you think that life happens to you and how you end up in life is based on the stuff that happens to you. No, where you end up in life is how you react to the stuff that happens to you. Okay, so like. Let me just give you an example. I have a family member who texted me, asked me some kind of question a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking, and she's related to me. And next thing you know, she started bringing up stuff from the past, like just old stuff, like what? And I was like, what are you talking about? And so she started bringing up this old stuff, like this old things that she still had resentment against with me. And then she started telling me that I owed her money from way back when I was a troublemaker. And I'm like, why are you going back to something like that? You're picking old scabs. And so that person, all they do is live in the past. And all they do is focus on what happened to them. And they think they are where they're at because of things that happened to them. And they don't know how to take personal responsibility for realizing, guess what? Stuff happens to me, but I got to get up, brush my shoulders off, dust myself off, and figure out how I'm going to learn from this experience and how I'm going to do better and rectify and make my life better. So this person was bringing up old stuff from 10, 12 years ago and blaming me for where they're at today. And it was just crazy because I'm like, look, why are you bringing this stuff up? I'm going to pay you. And just so you know, I still love you and I forgive you, and you need to forgive and forget and let stuff go, because if not, that hatred, that resentment you have is going to eat you up from the inside. And so they started texting me back saying that I thought I was holier than thou and I thought I was better than them. And what I'm telling you is what I told them is I don't consider myself better than anybody. I just know in my heart that I'm better. I'm better today than I was 5 months ago. I'm better today than I was 5 years ago, and I'm for sure better than I am today than I was 10 years ago. So one of those things why I'm better than I used to be is because I've written down some of my goals. I have goals written down to keep me focused on where I want to go. I don't want to be like, some of my family members that are living paycheck to paycheck and getting fired and then living on unemployment and thinking that life is going to treat them different, and that's why where they're at. No, I want to be way more successful than I am now, and I know for a fact if I keep writing my stuff down, writing my goals, and keeping that stuff in front of me, then I can create the life I want. you got to write down your goals. Again, you've probably heard this before, but if I'm telling you right now, if you haven't done this, why haven't you done it? I can't see you right now. I don't know what you're doing. But if you haven't written them down, I don't care if you're 65, 75, or 25. Take the time right now and write the stuff down. There's been times where I've listened to training and audios over and over and over again, and for some reason, the 500th time that I listened to it, I just finally got it. Whoa. It just finally hit me. And then my wife sometimes teases me. She's like, I told you that the other day. And now you're finally doing it because you heard so-and-so do it. And that's just, for some reason, we might hear something over and over and over again. And just one day, boom, it hits us in the face. We're like, wow, I need to do that. So this is what I'm telling you. If you've heard this before, but if you haven't done it, take the time today and write down your goals. It doesn't have to be something that people see. Put it in that notebook. Get you a spiral notebook from Walmart or Kmart or Target or whatever, store you have close by, and use that to put your goals down. Use that to put your to-do list. Put your why on that page. Put it on in that notebook. Put it on the first page of the notebook. You don't have to show nobody. Keep it in your desk, but pull it out every day and look at it, write in it, and add stuff in it. Add ideas that you have. Add stuff that you want to do. Dreams that you want to do. Like you want to go to, like me, I haven't been to Italy yet. One of my dreams is to take my family on a week vacation to Italy, right? Because my kids, they love Italian food, but I know that Italian food over there is totally different than what it's like here in the United States. But however, I know they want to go, right? So that's one of my dreams, to take them. So you got to write that kind of stuff down. Anytime you get a dream in your heart, write it down so that you can review that stuff every single day. And again, you hear this before, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to get you to where, do it. I can guarantee you half of you, or not, if not more, don't have this done. If you don't have this done, I guarantee you that's part of the reason why you're not where you want to be. And part of success is you don't get the money after you become successful. In the process of becoming successful, and the process of changing your attitude, that is what creates your life for you. That's what helps you attract success. You don't start getting money just because you wake up one day and you have a product launch. No. This is a process that starts from you today, and from you, maybe you started doing this years ago, from you constantly wanting to change, constantly wanting to get better. Number 3, upgrade your relationships and watch your environment. What I mean by that, I heard Les Brown state it this way. Think about this. If you hang around 9 broke people, I can guarantee you'll become number 10. Okay? What I mean by upgrade your relationship is you got to look at every single relationship you have and really think about what are these people doing to me? What is this person doing to me? What is this person doing to me? Are they adding value to my life, or are they pulling me down? I'm sure you've heard the metaphor of crabs in a bucket. I don't know if it's a metaphor, but the expression, I don't know how it goes, but basically, have you ever seen crabs in a bucket and one's trying to get out? What happens? The other crabs in that bucket pull that crab down, right? Because they're trying to get out at the same time, and they end up pulling him back in, and he can never get out because he's around all these other crabs that are pulling him down. So you got to look at who you hang around with, who you talk to, who do you communicate with always, and think about what are they doing to you. Again, you're not trying to be better than them. We all fall short. We all are cut from the same cloth. We all fall short. We are no better than anyone else. However, your goal should be to become better than you used to be. Okay? True nobility is not being better than anyone else. True nobility is being better than you used to be. So you got to look at who you talk to, who you hang out with, and think, okay, are these people, is this person adding value to my life? Are they inspiring me? Do we talk about good stuff? Or when I see them, do they constantly just complain about their job? Do they whine and moan to me about their husband? Do they just complain to me how bad their situation is? When I tell them, oh, I got to go change my tire because, I got a nail in my tire. Oh, you think that's bad? man, the other day I did this and that, and I cut my finger and I stubbed my toe, and my kids are acting up, and my husband slapped me around. If all they're doing is complaining to you about their problems, I'm sorry, but if they're not your children asking for help, then I don't know what to tell you, but I would say get away from them. I mean, and if your spouse is that way, well, I'm sorry, you have to find a way to seek out a way to maybe get them in some kind of environment so they can start seeing a different perspective, so they can start getting influenced in a positive way. Now, if you've been married for 10, 20, 30 years and they're really negative and they're abusive and verbally and mentally abusive, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a relationship coach, but I'll tell you, if they're like that, you need to get out, because they are keeping you from your dream. Your dreams, what you want in life, you got to hold those things close, and you can never let anyone try to strip them from your hands. Never let someone tell you you can't do something. Because think about the people that are successful in life. Just think about anyone like Tiger Woods, Danny Johnson, Frank Kern, anyone, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn. They are equal to us. We are equal to them. They were no better, and they are not any better than any of us. They held their dreams close to them. Some of them still do, and they constantly work towards the goals. Never let people steal your dreams. And if you have a bunch of dream stealers around you, you have to really look at how in the heck are you going to get away from those people. You got to figure out a way to remove those people from your life, because all they're doing is sucking the life out of you and sucking your dreams out of your hands. And they are, impacting your life in a negative way, to where they're creating more stress for you. They're creating more grief for you. They're creating strife. They're keeping you in a poor attitude, okay? I don't know if if you think about this, people rub off on each other. And if you're around a bunch of poor attitude people who dream small, who just worry about the weekend, who just work for a paycheck, who when you ask them, hey, how you doing? They're like, oh, I'm okay, considering, or I'm just getting by, or whatever. If they're just, if you say hi to them, they're like, how you doing, honey? And they're just like, and hemming and hawing. What does that do? I mean, that just like drains the life out of you. If you're around people like that, you need to find a way to get away from them. You got to watch your environment. You got to watch who's around you. You got to watch what you're watching on TV. If you wake up every morning to watch TV for 30 minutes to an hour, and all you're seeing about is this war over here, and these people got kidnapped here, and this person got beheaded over here, and the stock market crashed, and the employment rate is higher, and people can't find jobs, all you're doing is filling your head with all the reasons why you can't succeed. Most of the messages we hear, almost 90% of the stuff we hear is negative. 90% of the stuff that we hear is telling us we can't do it. Society as a whole, if you look at the commercials, if you look at radio shows, if you look at TV and ads, most of the stuff is basically telling us and is setting us up to think that we can't do it, that it's hard, that success only happens to special people. Well, we got to realize that we are all special, but choosing to be successful and choosing to be great is a choice. It doesn't just happen because you are born. We are all born into greatness. We are all born geniuses, but this process of life de-geniuses us. It makes us dumb. It dumbs us down. The whole process of life, the things we hear. We're told, I think, 17,000 times the word no before we're a teenager. By the time we're teenagers, we're told like 17,000 times the word no. So we're constantly being told negative stuff. And our parents, they don't know any better. They do it because they're afraid for us to get hurt. No, get off of there. No, you can't go over there. Why? Because they're worried about our safety. They're worried about us getting hurt when we're growing up. They're worried about us getting caught up in the wrong, with the wrong crowd, etc. But that constant word, no, 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 it sticks in our head. And we grow up and we end up getting older with this attitude of maybe I can't do it. Maybe I won't be able to do it. Maybe it's just because that person's special, right? So you got to watch what you're doing, watch your environment, watch who you're hanging out with, watch what you're taking in, You got to watch what you're consuming. If you're waking up every morning to read the paper and watch the news, all you're doing is taking in death and negativity and junk. Let me ask you something. Would you let someone go into your living room, or as they say in Chicago, into your front room? Would you let somebody dump out 10 pails of garbage? Would you let somebody get a garbage can and dump it in your living room? No, right? You would get totally upset and you would probably beat the hell out of them, right? So why would you let somebody dump garbage into your mind? You have to protect your mind. Your mind is the most powerful thing you have to ensure your success, okay? That and your faith in God. If you are not protecting the messages that are going into your mind and watching your environment by what you're reading and seeing and hearing and who you're hanging around with, then you're going to let anything go in there, okay? And so if you're not protecting yourself and what's going in your head, you're going to let anything and everything that comes across you go in there, and most of that stuff that goes in there is not good. So you need to really watch your relationships, upgrade them, get around people that are successful, like in the Skype group. All of us want to succeed. We all want to do better, right? Get into those groups, not only the group coaching webinar, not only the group coaching Skype room, but any other Skype room where people are trading tips, where they're helping each other, where they're giving each other advice. You want to hang around stuff like that. You want to go to special events, seminars, and internet marketing stuff, and personal growth stuff. You want to go to meetings and stuff where there's nothing but rich people that are where you want to be. Go to stuff like that. Hang around, people like that. Upgrade your relationships, okay? You don't want to go and be, hang around people in the ghetto and go hang around a bunch of people that are complaining all the time. You want to be around people that inspire you and lift you up and that are more successful than you, so that you can be around that, so that you can start thinking like they do, okay? One of the things that poor people should do is take rich people out for lunch and pay for their lunch or pay for their dinner. But most poor people won't do that. Why? Because they say, why should I pay for his dinner? He's rich. He should pay for mine. But that's one of the biggest mistakes that a poor person can do. Instead, they should pay for the dinner and sit there and learn from that rich person. So that's enough about that. But I just wanted to really, speak on that because it's really, really important. Number 4 is watch your thoughts. This has to do basically with who's around you, who's infecting you, who's affecting you, or who's infecting you. You need to watch your thoughts. You need to have a positive attitude. You need to constantly meditate on things that you want, on what's good, on what's positive, not what's going bad in your life, all the bad stuff that's happened to you, who hurt you in the past. If so-and-so hadn't done that to me 2 years ago, or if my kids hadn't gone to jail, and if I hadn't had to sell my car to bail him out, or blah, blah, blah. Watch your thoughts. You can't focus on your situation and complain about it. Another thing is when you're listening to positive stuff, that's what you want to be doing. You don't want to be taking in negative things over and over and over again, because you need to watch what goes through your mind. If you're constantly thinking on negative terms, if you're constantly thinking about your situation and the problems you have and who hurt you and this and that, all that's doing is helping you attract more stuff that you don't want in your life. If you're constantly thinking, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to, have these problems, all you're doing is attracting more of what you don't want, okay? You want to focus on what you do want, not what you don't want, okay? You can never rise above your words, and if your words in your mind are negative and just talking, if your inner conversation is negative and it's all about bad stuff and what, all the bad situations that you're going through and who hurt you, it's just going to drag you down and it's going to give you a bad attitude. And people with bad attitudes in life, who have a bad perspective, don't get as far as those who have a good perspective on life. You got to watch what you're thinking about. And this is just like anything. You have to practice. You have to constantly get better. You're not going to just watch your thoughts on Monday and then tomorrow you're going to just think crazy stuff again. No, this is consistent stuff here. Number 5, watch your words. Don't go around telling people all the bad stuff that's happening to you. Don't go telling people your problems. You know why? Because they say 80% of the people that hear what problems you're having don't care, and the other 20% are glad it's you. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Singing Steve, you said I cut out. Can you hear me? Hello? Yes, okay, good. So you need to watch your words. Don't go around telling people all your problems and oh, you can't believe what happened to me, and oh, I'm going to get laid off in 6 weeks, or oh, I'm so overweight and I'm just tired. Nobody wants to hear that, really. I mean, watch what's coming out of your mouth. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. You got to watch what you speak about. You got to direct what you want to come out of your mouth to be stuff that's what you want to happen, to be about your success, to be about you raising up, to be about you rising up, right? You want to watch what's coming out. If you're constantly saying, oh, this stupid job, and oh, I can't believe these damn kids of mine, they don't ever shape up, and my stupid husband, this, you can never rise above your words, like Zig Ziglar said. You can never rise above your words. So if you're condemning your situation, if you're verbally speaking death into your own life, if you're verbally talking negatively about your situations and what you are not seeing, if you don't have enough money, if you think, I need $5,000, and you're not grateful and you're not saying thank you, to the universe for what you have now, you're never going to attract more. So just think about that. Watch what comes out of your mouth. The tongue is powerful. You got to watch what you're saying. And again, this is like everything else in life. You got to get better at it. You got to practice. You cannot just, practice it for one day. It's like going to the gym. Like I went and I worked out yesterday for 35 minutes at the gym. If I just do that once a month, is that going to help me? No, right? I got to do it on a consistent basis. Like today, I woke up late because I stayed up working a little bit last night on some stuff. So I'm going to go later today. So it's like anything else. Watching your words and watching the speech that comes out of your mouth is something that you have to work on daily. Okay? It's not something that's going to happen overnight and you're just going to be an automatic positive, speaker every time you open your mouth. No. It's one of those things that you got to constantly work on. Number 6, get a coach. Listen, I'm your coach. We do group coaching, right? I do this, and of course you knew that I was moving recently, so we're doing 2 this week. But I mean, if you need help with some stuff, we do this in a group coaching environment. If you need one-on-one time, let me know, right? Of course, I have to charge you because my time's valuable, just like yours. I got stuff to do, but you need to know that you have to get a coach. I'm your coach. We do this in group coaching environment. If you need personal time where maybe you need me to help you and by roughing you up, slapping you around or whatever, looking at what you're doing and maybe critiquing and telling you what you can tweak, etc., then let me know, right? You got to have a coach. And not only just a coach with internet marketing. If you want to get healthier, then get a fitness coach. If you want to improve your relationships with your spouse, then seek out a relationship coach, right? Get someone that is successful at things that you want to be successful at. Les Brown, I heard this the other day. You can't see the picture when you're in the frame, right? If let's just say you're in the photo, can you see the photo if you're in that photo? No, right? You have to stand outside of that picture frame and look in and look at that photo. So, I mean, a coach can see things that you can't, because you can't notice things because we are, biased by nature, right? We think that we know everything. We think that our choices and decisions we make and, what we do is good because that's what we know. That's how we're raised, and that's it, right? So a coach can say, wait a minute, this is what you're doing wrong with this, and this looks great, but you need to change this, tweak this around, and take this out. They can do those type of things because they are more successful than you in that area, right? So like me, I'm overweight still, right? I'm a little fluffy. So I wouldn't be a good fitness coach for you, right? Of course, I would tell you that, right? But I've been making six figures since 2007, right? So making 200 to 300,000 or more a year, and my goal is to make 100,000 a month. So if you're not making 200, 300,000 or more a year, then guess what? You can learn from me because I'm more successful than you in this area. So if you want to become more physically fit, seek out a fitness coach. If you want to improve your relationships with your wife or with your family or whatever, get a relationship coach. Get a coach for in as many areas of your life as you can, because think about it. All the successful people in any industry have coaches. Les Brown spends $100,000 a year on coaching. Tiger Woods, they say when he, aims, takes a look at the ball and he swings, boom, he hits the ball when he's playing golf. He'll look that way in the direction of where the ball's going, and then he'll look to his right. And when he does that, he's looking at his coach. If Tiger Woods needs a coach, what do you need, right? So step number 6 is get a coach. Now, you have me in the group coaching environment. If you need me for one-on-one time, let me know, and we can set something up. But get a coach in every area of your life that you want to improve. 7, this is simple, but I guarantee you more than half of you are not doing it. Listen to personal growth audios daily. Listen to at least an hour of good stuff. You know why? Because, again, remember, about 87 to 90% of the messages we hear on a daily basis are negative. They're violent. They teach, all they talk about is sex and killing people with this and shooting people there and murders here and war here and famine here and poverty there and, men suck and women are strong. I mean, all this stuff that we hear in movies and on TV and stuff, most of it's negative. You got to fill your head with as much good stuff as possible, guys. I listen to at least an hour or more of good stuff daily. If I'm driving, guess what I put on? I put on some good stuff to play through my cell phone, and then it plays through the Bluetooth onto the speakers of my vehicle. If not, if I'm doing something in the house, I'll turn on my phone and the speakers. I'll turn it up loud, so if I'm working on something, I can hear it. Or if I'm at my computer, I'll listen to it while I'm doing things. I listen to over an hour or more of personal growth audios. And you don't have to pay for this stuff if you don't want to. I mean, you can Google stuff on YouTube. I mean, you can look stuff up on YouTube and listen to plenty of stuff. There's millions of hours of good stuff on there. Listen to this kind of stuff because we need to reinforce our minds, because there's so much negative junk being put into our minds constantly everywhere we go, by the environment we have, by the things we see on TV, that we got to build ourselves up and build up our wall to protect our mind. And the way you protect your mind is you fill it with as much good stuff as possible so that you can become better. Because the more and more you listen to these things over and over and over again, it's going to help you become a better person. And by you becoming a better person, you're going to attract more and more things that you want in your life. Okay? By listening to this stuff over and over and over again, the car is one of the best places. If you drive anywhere and you spend more than 5 minutes in a car on a daily basis, turn off the radio. I mean, turn off, whatever you're listening to, if it's talk radio or news or, hip-hop or, whatever, classical music. Put on some personal growth stuff. Let me just give you some names. Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Earl Nightingale, Danny Johnson, Tony Robbins, all that kind of stuff. Listen to that stuff over and over. I mean, there's some audios that I've heard 50 times in the last 3 months. And then there's other ones that I've heard probably over 100 times. I'm constantly listening to that stuff because it's constantly keeping me on my toes and keeping me focused in the direction where I want to go. Okay? Number 8, read at least 10 pages or more of good stuff daily. I said good stuff because it doesn't have to just be personal growth. It can be business stuff. It can be the 4-hour work week. It can be, one of Rich Seffrin's ebooks. It can be anything. Read 10 or more pages a day of good stuff. Again, because that goes back into what you're putting into your mind, what you're feeding your mind. All the junk we hear on a daily basis from our surroundings, the people we know, from the TV, etc., really brings people down and drags us down. You got to build up that wall and protect your mind and fill it with as much good stuff as you can. Business stuff, personal growth stuff, positive thinking, all of that stuff, self-help, anything that's going to fill your mind with as much good things as possible. Become a hungry student for learning and growing. Know this now. If you want to be successful, and if you want to be rich and famous, or if you just want to be, comfortable making $100,000 or more a year, or $200,000 a year, or $500,000 or $1 million a year, you have to grow personally. You have to become a better person. It's not going to happen just by you buying, some one-click wonder push-button software. That's all crap. It's not going to happen by accident. You're not going to win the lottery. And even if you do, what do they say? 90% of the people that win the lottery are broke within 2 or 3 years. Why? Because they never changed their what? They never changed their way of thinking. They never modified how they viewed the world. They never changed their attitude. They never changed their mindset. So if you don't change how you think and how you view the world and how you see the world, life isn't going to get better for you. If you win the lottery tomorrow and win $10 million, if you don't change your mindset and your outlook and how you see the world, if you don't become a better person, you'll be broke in 2 to 3 years. You might be broke in 1 year. Depends on what you buy. You might go buy an $8 million home, a $1 million car, and then blow the other $1 million on junk within 3-4 months. So you really got to think about all of this stuff and realize this is a consistent project. You're not done. We never reach perfection, right? There was only one person that was perfect on this world, right? We know who that was. None of us are ever going to be perfect. However, all of us can become better than we were yesterday, okay? 9, you got to work daily on getting better. Now, this just encompasses everything I was talking about, and realize daily, getting better. I teach my kids, what do you do? I ask my sons, hey, what should you do and try to do every single day? And they say, get better. I said, amen. So you got to work constantly on getting better, on improving the person that you are, on becoming more of what you've always been. If you want to get, if you want to stop getting what you get, and you got to stop doing what you're doing. So if you want to get better, you got to become better. And this is a daily thing, not just Monday through Friday. This is Sunday through Sunday. Every single day, you have to focus on getting better. I don't care who you are. I'm doing my best to get better. Every single millionaire and billionaire out there is constantly trying to get better. Okay? I mean, it's just a no-brainer. You have to do it. This is one of those things where if you want to get out of the rat race, if you currently have a job, you have to get better. Now, here's a little story. I don't know it exactly, but word for word, but let me tell you. There's this guy, he's working on the railroad, and he's working with some guys out on this railroad out in the heat one day, and up pulls a private railroad car, and it's really nice. I mean, it just looks really clean and crisp, and it's air conditioned, and these guys look, and this guy steps out, and he says, hey, Jim, is that you? He's like, hey, how you doing? And this guy that was working outside with these other guys on the railroad knew the person that got out of that car. He says, come on in here. He went in there, and it was a friend of his, and they were talking for an hour, talking about good old times. And so it was time to go, and let's just say the owner in that car was named Bob. And the guy who got out of the car, who was working with those other workers, is named Jim. So when Jim got out, they hugged, they embraced, and the Bob took off. And so the worker said, hey, ain't that Bob so-and-so, the CEO of the railroad? He said, yeah. Why do you know him? He says, well, we've been friends 25 years. And they said, really? He says, yeah, as a matter of fact, we started on the same day. And the guys asked, well, wait a minute. If he's the CEO of the railroad, and you started on the same day, why are you out here with us and he's in there in that railroad, that private railroad car. And he said, Jim said, well, it's really simple now that I think about it. When we started, I started working for $3 an hour. But when Bob started, he went to go work for the railroad. In other words, it was a different mindset. The guy that was outside working in the heat was just focused on getting a paycheck. And that other guy, who is now the CEO of that railroad, focused on getting better and did his best to do a better job for the railroad and not just for a paycheck. So this is that story is something I want to share with you, because you got to work daily on getting better. I don't care if you think, you can never get, if you think you can never get any better, well, that's a problem. You really got to focus on soaking your mind with as much positive stuff as possible. But, you got to know that you have the ability and the power to become great. You have it inside you just like we all do, but it's a decision that you have to make on a daily basis if you're going to go for it. So number 9 is simple. Work daily on getting better, and that's like in everything. Become a sponge and have a hunger, a burning desire inside to want to get better. Not just for you, but so that you can be successful and help your family and become someone that people in your community look up to, right? So that you can be an inspiration to others. So you can tell people your story of where you came from and all the screwed up stuff that you did and all the bad decisions you made, and you can impart into them where you are now, and they can be inspired by that. Number 10 is something I learned from Brian Tracy. Eat your biggest and ugliest frogs first, okay? What this means is you need to write down, if you don't have one, a list of things you need to do that you know will help you move forward. Not only in your business, but financially and stuff like that. And you need to look at the things that would probably make you the most money and the most success. What would help you the most? And you need to eat those frogs first, because I forgot who said it, but Brian Tracy talks about this. When you eat your frog, basically, if you consider these ugly tasks, these hard tasks, these things you need to get done, ugly frogs, if you can eat a real big, nasty, ugly, fat frog, then you can pretty much handle anything the rest of the day, right? If you were to swallow a big, nasty frog in the morning, then anything else that comes your way is like nothing. It's no big deal, because, who would want to eat a frog, right? That's nasty, right? So if you can do that, then you can handle anything, right? So you got to look at what you want to do, what you need to do to move your business forward. Write those things down, and the things that would bring you the most success or the most money, etc., or build your list the quickest, etc., you need to do those things first. Okay, so I'm gonna ask real quick, what would make me more money? Creating webinar slides for a new webinar on Friday, or checking my email? Just answer that question real quick. What would make me more money? Putting together a new PowerPoint presentation to do a webinar, or checking my email for 2 hours and just seeing what gets thrown at me? What do you think would make me more money? Webinar, right? So, again, that's an example of eating the frog. I need to eat the biggest and ugliest frogs first, even though, what do you do, or what have you been putting off? What have you know in the back of your mind, man, I need to do that? If you've been putting it off, but you know in your heart of hearts it would bring you the most success or make you more money, then you need to start eating that frog now and stop putting it off. For some reason, this, again, it has to do, I guess, with all the negative junk we hear growing up, and no, you can't do that. For some reason, we put the things off that would bring us the most success for some reason. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that we got to get out of the habit of doing. And we got to stop putting things off that are going to bring us closer to where we want to be, okay? So write down the things you got to do, right? Like buy a solo ad, or go post ads at all my membership sites that I have at Safe List, Viral List Builders, etc., right? Because, one of the things I teach you guys about internet marketing, if you've spent and you've already invested all your money for advertising for this week, for your advertising budget, if you've already gotten swaps set up and you've got all that kind of stuff set up, instead of going sitting down watching TV for 2 hours, instead, why don't you go create some membership sites and post some ads on all these free sites and get you some clicks, get you some traffic. You might get 20, 30 subscribers out of it if you do that instead of watching TV. Okay? I'm just trying to make you think outside the box. Eat your biggest frogs first. Do the things that you've kind of been putting off first, and you'll be amazed how much more accomplished you feel. Part of success is getting things done and checking it off on your list and being happy and feeling good about yourself, and that automatically raises your self-esteem. And the more better you feel, the better you feel about yourself, the more you're going to get done, because you're going to increase your self-esteem. You're going to get more pride out of doing things because you're checking stuff off on your list and you're feeling more accomplished. So eat those ugly things first, and then everything else becomes easier and easier and easier to do. Number 11 goes hand in hand with everything that I've been talking about. Practice daily consistent action. Consistent action. I used to tell people, and I still do, what do I contribute to my success? I think I said faith. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. I'm going to show you. This is an old web page, okay? This is like basically my story, sort of. And I don't know if you can see this. Okay. So let me make this bigger. Okay. You should be able to see it now. Okay. Okay, so I owe my success to learning every day, not giving up, consistent daily activity, taking risks, and most of all, faith. Okay, you got to have the faith to keep going. You got to walk by faith and not by sight. You got to look at your situation and know that it's going to get better, and not just condemn your situation and get pissed off of where you're at. Okay, so here, this is, like I said, an old page. I haven't edited this in a long time. But as you can see here, I owe my success to learning every day, not giving up, and consistent daily activity. Okay? So what are you doing daily to move your business forward? And that doesn't just, I'm not just talking about driving traffic or going and clicking on stuff or posting ads. That goes with everything. You got to listen to stuff daily. You got to read stuff daily. You have to, focus on getting a better attitude daily. This is all a daily process. You got to want to get better, guys. I mean, and I know most of you've heard this stuff before, but for some reason, some of you on this webinar have not done it. And I'm telling you, it's a consistent battle. It's a consistent thing. It's like weeds. You can go kill all the weeds in your yard, right? And guess what? You can go back 3, 6, 7 weeks later, and guess what? They're back again, right? If you don't constantly work on getting better and taking daily consistent action on learning how to be better, on learning, reading stuff, on listening to stuff, on doing things to move your business forward, on eating those frogs every day. If you don't do this daily, the weeds will set in. They will take over. Okay? You got to hold your goal in front of you, and you got to be, you got to be hungry for success. You got to want it more than anything else. So you got to do this consistently every single day. Learn more, listen to stuff more, read stuff more, take more risks, do things every single day to get better daily. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but here I am beating it, okay? Because you got to get it through your head, okay? Number 12, practice patience. You got to practice patience because everything's not going to happen the way you want it. You're not going to make $5,000 overnight. You're not going to hit a home run every time. Most of those solo ads you buy aren't going to do so good. Okay? You got to practice patience and realize that as you're working towards getting better and working towards your goals, things aren't going to work out the way you want them to be all the time. Things aren't going to work out as planned. You're going to get hit with stuff that throws you off. You're going to get hit with obstacles. You got to practice patience and realize that by keeping your dreams in front of you, by looking at your why, by looking at your goals, by looking at that to-do list, and by doing things daily, things are going to get better. But that patience is going to be there so that you realize it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to become an overnight success on the internet. It's going to take practice. It's going to take patience. And it's going to take you realizing that you have to wait, okay? It's not going to happen right away. Now, you've heard the expression, good things happen to those who wait. Well, I like to say good things happen to those who wait, but better things happen to those that get off their butt and do something about it. So again, constantly work on things to get better in every area of your life, especially monetarily, financially, in your business, etc. Because if you become a better person and get better inside, in your mind, better on how you think and how your attitude is, and just learn to view life in a different way and be positive, that's going to help you attract more success. And by practicing patience, that's just going to keep you from going nuts and getting going off the deep end when things don't go your way. All right, guys? Now, 13 is obvious. Never quit this business. Never quit getting better. Never quit wanting to become more. Because if you never quit and you practice more and more and more consistently on a daily basis, getting better, you'll have the success you want, and you're going to get even better than you are today. Okay? So, I mean, what I want for every one of you is to become millionaires so that you can say on stage or when people interview you that your breakthrough was when Frank said this, or when Frank Salinas helped you with this, or when Frank Salinas helped you realize this or that. That's what I want. I want you to be more successful so that you can make me famous, right? So, I mean, that's it, guys. I think that's it. Let me see. That's it for the webinar slide show. Let me put on my headset. If we have any questions, I'll take them right now.